How are you all doing today? Um, so in today's live stream, I want us to talk about why Africa is still under the Western influence. Because Africa is still under the Western influence. So that's what we are going to be looking at here today. You all know that for a long time now, Africa has not been producing its own resources, its own things like cars, or let me say produce its own goods. And Africa is still heavily dependent on the western world when it comes to some certain things, many things, not even some certain things. Even things like mobile phones are still being produced from the west to Africa. Things like cars, things like there was a life that I was talking about, even rice. We are producing rice here in the country, but we are still importing rice from China. We are still importing rice from China. So you can just imagine. And Europeans are always going to keep controlling Africa unless we start producing our own African stuff. There is something that I've realized. I think our ancestors were doing far more better than us, because normally in life, if you give birth to your child's supposed to do far more greater things than you. But we as a people, before the slave ships showed up on the shores of our ancestors were manufacturing their own products. They were producing their own products. They had their own civilization. So this makes me to ask the question: what is wrong with us as a people collectively? Because even an app like this, like YouTube, which we can use for content creating, which content creators can monetize their platforms, this is still a foreign app that we are using. There was a time in which I tried to search for a black owned app, and I saw some apps like is it Fanbase, and majority of our people are not even into the app. So it really makes me at times to ask the question: we have a continent that is full with over 1 billion people, but to create apps like this, just imagine if you come to the motherland and develop an app that is going to be fit for content creators, which will allow content creators to create their content. Because let me tell you something: African content creators, especially on Facebook, they are having a lot of difficulties, especially to monetize their content. If you're a content creator on Facebook that you want to monetize your content in Africa, you need to look for somebody that is in the US or someone that is in Europe before you can be able to monetize your content. You need to look for the person and make the person admin in your page before that person is going to be able to apply for monetization and your content is going to be monetized. But in as much as you are still here in the continent, you cannot monetize a Facebook page. Which why should it be like this? Why can't we just create our own platforms which is going to benefit just us here in the motherland, that it will enable us to pass out information? Because we cannot say that this video platforms are not useful, because the first thing that this video platform has helped us as a people collectively is that it has provided us the opportunity to show the motherland to the diaspora without the motherland relying solely on the mainstream media, because the mainstream media really pass out misinformation to the diaspora concerning motherland. So platforms like these are very, very important. It has played a very major role in us creating content and showing the diaspora how the motherland is and the opportunities that the motherland is having. So we need to start doing a lot of things. All right, we need to start doing a lot of things, because even though we are progressing, but if I look at the motherland, still the state where the motherland is, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done. We are still consuming things that are foreign. We hardly manufacture things here in the motherland. Hardly. The only things here that I can say that we manufacture, there are just some little basic things, and which it is not as if we don't have the capability to do it, even though I might not blame it on, the citizens, because, some of our leaders also are the reason why things are going the way it is going with us here in the motherland. So this is it. And there was a video that I made also, that one of our brother from Uganda tried to invent a helicopter, and most of the channels that reacted to that video were throwing negative comments, that the guy should not try to do what he is unable to do, which I think is very, very wrong, because each and everything that somebody wants to make starts small. There will be mistakes, there will be a lot of failures, but the only thing that will differentiate the success and the failure of that thing is when the person keeps pushing up. So we should stop being negative to when we see some of our brothers trying to create something, and this goes especially to continental Africans, because continental Africans are used to this. All right, they love to create. When they are seeing their brother trying to create something, they'll be like, this thing has already been created, so why are you still stressing yourself? But which we don't have any helicopter. There was no African country that is making helicopters. There was no African countries that is producing let me just say car. No, there was an African country that is producing cars. I think, is it Ghana? I'm sure it's Ghana. Ghana is producing cars, but the cars are not being it's not that popular here in the motherland. Why? Because we are heavily importers of foreign vehicles. So that is just what I said. Let me share with you guys today on this live. The live is not going to be long. I just said let me share with you guys on this live. So if you guys also like feel like if there are some certain things that you might add also, because there is a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work. At times I look at it, and I say there's a lot of work, and some of our people have not yet still come to realize that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. Some of our people are just feeling relaxed, like when they leave the motherland, they think like the solution is to leave the motherland, which that is not the case. Because if you leave the motherland, the foreign people, they are always going to start extracting resources from the motherland, which is not going to. We are the ones that are going to be affected. Are we going to fix the motherland, or we are going to make our children to also be runaways of their own land that they come from? So we need to fix the motherland so that our children will not run away from their land of their ancestors. If every continental African is going to Europe, if every continental African is going to America, who is going to fix Africa? That is a problem. Who will fix Africa? That is why we are here. All right. Even though at times some people will say it's not everybody that will have the same idea. There will always be some people that will have different ideology with others. Okay, so even if everybody wants to run the continent, there must be some people that will remain and fix the continent. And you are one of them. I am also one of them. All right. Yeah, we need to fix the continent. The continent is having a lot of work. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, there is a lot of work. There is a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of work. I look at the motherland at times. I see, things are really, really going. Things are really, really going. So, look at what is happening in Burkina Faso today. Burkina Faso is progressing. Why? Because they have the Burkina Faso has taken a major turnover. Like we don't want France here in our country. Our country cannot be producing uranium. Our country cannot be having resources, but still yet our country is still in poverty. France will come and buy a liter of uranium from Niger for it's not even going to be it won't even be one up to $1, and they'll come and buy it from Niger, and then they'll go and sell it at the world market for about 200 euros. So who is losing? It is your people. At times I just really, really get sick that one person, one man, which is going to consider which is going to consider being a leader, is going to put an entire country into stress and suffering. Just one person. So which is really, really sad. Which is really, really sad. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done. There is a lot of work that needs to be done. Yeah, Niger. That is I even wanted to call, but Niger. I said Burkina Faso. It was Niger. Niger. Since from the period when Niger kicked away France, things has started changing in Niger. Even here in Cameroon, even here, France is still here in Cameroon. France is still here in Cameroon, and which is the reason why you are seeing Cameroon. Cameroon is supposed to be a country that was not supposed to be poor. I mean, to some certain extent, Cameroon was supposed to have everything because the population here is just about 25 million people, and we have a lot of resources. But France also is exploiting our resources, which leaves us with little or nothing. So many people were even thinking that maybe Cameroon will be the next country that will kick out of France after Gabon. Gabon, the coup that happened in Gabon, the president of Gabon, his name was I think it was Ali Bongo, the former president there. The man was paralyzed and he was still there. Gabon, I think Gabon is just having a population of 3 million people. Can you just imagine 3 million people living in a land filled with resources, still yet they are still in poverty? Just 3 million people. So this just shows how we need to. There was a lot of work. There was a lot of work, and that is the major reason. That is the major reason why Africa is still the way it is. All right. So, but they say a journey with 1,000 miles starts with a step. All right. If we put hands together and say, let us start from here in order to change Africa, we can definitely change Africa. and I'm seeing the process. It is already happening. All right, it's already happening, but I'm saying that we need to put more effort in the development of the continent. We need to put more effort. You need to start producing things, mobile phones. You need to start producing mobile phones. I'm hearing that Rwanda has started producing mobile phones. I think the name of the phone is it Tarawa or something like that. But as usual, it is not popular. So many people do not know it because we are always importing phones from foreign phones, Samsung, and all the likes. Which that is in as much as we start producing our own stuff here, then things will get for the better. I don't know if you all have heard what happened to Zimbabwe. There was a period in which Zimbabwe was sanctioned by the US. Um, Zimbabwe was sanctioned by the US. I don't really know what Zimbabwe did during that period, but I'm sure it was something that they never wanted. They never wanted to have, or they had a disagreement with the US, and the US had to sanction Zimbabwe just because Zimbabwe was heavily dependent on foreign things. It had to affect their economy. Yeah, big bro, that's true. We need to market ourselves too. Well, and that is so many Africans are suffering from. Firstly, so many Africans are suffering from this, should I say, inferiority, that they just feel like they don't match. Like if an African model go to the US, maybe to compete or to do the same modeling that is happening, he or she will feel the self-esteem is low, which the self-esteem of Africans, or the main reason why Africans are feeling a little bit inferior, is because of what happened, the colonialism and some other stuff that happened. And since from childbirth we have been taught that anything African compared to maybe the Western world is not good. And so with this mindset, we now just believe that we cannot compete with this side, or we cannot develop things that will be more better than the Western side, which we don't even want to develop things that will even be more better or than whatsoever. We just want to be our own. We just want to have our own independence. That is what we want. We are not in competition. Yeah, that is just what we want. We just want to build our own. We just want to have our own um doings without anybody interfering, with our stuff that we are doing. So we are not competing with anybody, but it's just unfortunate that they don't want to let us be. They don't want to let us be, but they don't have a choice, because if I look at the face of Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso, I see a man that wants to bring a change, a transformation in Africa. He doesn't care. He doesn't really care about what happened or what will happen to him. And Julius Malema, also from South Africa. These are leaders that doesn't care. They want to put the people first. So that's it. That is what we need to do, because if we don't do things like this, Africa will always remain, under the influence of the Western world. Africa will always remain under the influence of the Western world, which we need to stop it. We need to stop it. So even here in Cameroon, here in Cameroon, a lot of things are happening here in Cameroon, which is just really, really sad. Really, really sad. That's why you see many people will just say, let me just leave the country. And some of them have a point, because you cannot be somewhere where things are not moving, things are not going, no matter how hard you try. But that's why I've always said that if you want to make people to start doing things or to bring a change, first you need to provide jobs for the people. You cannot be telling somebody something with a hungry stomach. No, no matter what you want to tell that person will not listen to you. All right, that person will not listen to you except you have provide jobs to the person. That's why you see some Africans, no matter what you tell them, they will not agree with you concerning the things of Africa. Yeah, they will not agree with you. You cannot be telling somebody to you know remain in Africa, meanwhile there is no job. You cannot be telling somebody to stay in Africa and change Africa, meanwhile even the basic necessities that that person needs, he or she doesn't have. They will not agree, even though some people will really want to stay, but just because of that basic things, jobs that they will, because they need jobs to live on. All right, they need jobs to live on. The average salary of or labor here in Africa is very, very low, which that is why you see, and I don't really blame them though. Some of our brothers who are living the motherland, I cannot really blame them, because I am in the motherland, so I know what is happening. I know what is going on here, and it just takes courage to also. And this is happening, like, if we want change, we have to start doing our own things. All right, because if somebody gives you, if somebody is responsible for maybe feeding you and taking care of your needs, providing things for you, that person will automatically have control over you. So if the West still have, if we still allow the West to have influence over Africa, then things will just continue like this. There is a lot of organizations here in the motherland that was supposed to be an African organization, but is still controlled by the West, which is just really, really sad. It's really, really sad. It's sad. So, but like I said, there is change. I'm seeing a lot of changes happening. I'm seeing a lot of changes happening. People are speaking up. People are coming up and saying things. Africans have realized themselves, and with the collaboration and the unity of our people from the diaspora, we can change Africa. We can do this. Yeah, we can do this. We just have to take that bold step in order to accomplish the goal. So yes, guys, I really have that passion, because when I was growing up, I was affected. Yes, we need to provide, we need to do everything. Well, even though that's, even if it's something little, but just the fact that we have provided something, it really, really means a lot. I mean, no matter how little it is. Because I was affected with this mindset when I was little. I knew that anything African, I was like, nothing good comes will come out of Africa. And then, you all know that what they also teach us in school. Can you just imagine that the history that we are doing here in Africa, we are doing three types of history. Let me just say, here in Cameroon, we are doing three types of history. We are doing world history, we are doing African history, then we are doing Cameroon history. So world history talks about the First World War, the Second World War, um, things that had to do with the Western wars, the Europeans and their war, Cold War that were happening and other stuff. Then African history now talks about the scramble of Africa, how Europeans started scrambling for Africa because they were looking for market and stuff like that, which I know that was not even the truth. And then Cameroon history now talks about the history of Cameroon, how Cameroon gained its independence from Britain and France, and yeah, and you know, and I grew up. The things that they were teaching us was really really sad. Like they would tell you about how Africa was colonized, how your ancestors were being enslaved, and they will be saying it, and they will be saying it, and it will not even be as if it's something that is bad or sad. We'll be in class listening to this story, and we'll even be smiling, which, and this is how it affects most of us, and that is why it has killed our self-esteem to an extent that we just believe that, we Africa are the lesser people, and the Western world are the much bigger people. And that is why it is very very easy for an African to accept things that will come out from the Western world, even if the things are of low quality, but they will prefer to accept it because of what we have been indoctrinated in schools. The only thing that saved us as Africans is that we knew a little bit about our history, even though they tried to hide it, they tried to make us to forget. No, since as we are still living in the same land that our ancestors had, so it was impossible for them to just hide everything. So we knew about some of our great leaders, we knew about some of our great empires that we had, what we were achieving. So this was the reason why it boosted our self-esteem a little, even though it was not really that much, but it just had to boost it up because we knew of what our ancestors accomplished and stuff like that. So that was the reason why history was my best subject in school, but I just hated this part that talks about enslaving our ancestors, and then nobody is talking anything about it. So that is what kills my it really killed my self-esteem. I was also a victim of this. It was when I started come like I was like, why will Africa be like this? Why will everybody wants to leave Africa? We need to change things. We need to make sure that there is a change. So I started, saying things whenever I get into argument with some of our brothers here who will say Africa is low. They prefer things from outside or from the Western world than Africa. I'll start getting into argument with them, and tell them that, look, this is not how things are being done. We cannot reject our own just because we feel like it is not the best. And from time to time, and I'm really really happy that so many Africans, yes, inferiority, they that is what they were teaching us. I don't really know like what they really taught the African diaspora, but I believe it will not be something different. It will not be something different. Yeah. So that is why you see majority of us as a people all over the world, we feel kind of inferior, even though I'm not. It is just like it is our self-esteem because of what we have been taught. Your ancestors had no civilization. Your ancestors did not build anything. They didn't build ships, which we all know that is false. So it is when I started reading history books, I started doing my own research by myself, that I discovered so many things, and I said, you know what, I'm going to be the voice. Yeah, I'm going to be the voice. You see, they don't teach, which that is the main. That is why I said it is because of that history, some of our history. Yes, anything that our ancestors had accomplished. Ah, that is a lie now. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is why there's a video that I did. So many people, so many of our people were telling me that I should remove the video that I was talking about. One of our brother in the diaspora that were saying that the African diaspora have no links to Africa. That from the very first day that they were taken away, that yeah, yeah, like so many people have even been asking questions like, you know, it is possible. There is no way that the first humans on Earth couldn't have been Black Africans. There is no possible way. There is no possible way. So I did that video, and I was yes, we are the original people. We are the original people. From us, hence, when the Lord said, "Go and multiply," it is from us that we had to multiply the world. Even though so many people will try to argue this fact, but these are facts. Even it has even been proven scientifically. It has been proven that life started, and then the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden is it has been proven scientifically that it is located in somewhere called this country in Africa. Um, is it Zimbabwe? I think it's Zimbabwe or is Mozambique, something like that. That they believe that the Garden of Eden was located. So I did that video, and one of our brother was saying that that the African diaspora history never started from Africa. That as since as they were taken away from Africa, their history started from slavery. I was like, nah, that is not your history. The African history is the real original history of the African diaspora is African history. That is why they never taught you. All right. That is why they never taught the diaspora, because they know. That's why I'm saying that they try to cover it up here in the motherland. They try to cover it, but they failed. They failed. Why? Because even if we never heard it from school, but we had evidence. There are so many evidence. There are so many existing kingdom that we have here that is proof of what our ancestors did. So they had no choice than to allow us to learn our true history, even though they try to manipulate it and stuff like that. And that is why I feel like our ancestors, we are supposed to be greater than our ancestors. There are so many things that our ancestors accomplished back then, and we all know that our ancestors were not heavily consumers of foreign products. They were not. Because if you want to look at the time when, even before when the European slave ships came to their shores, they were producing their own things. I don't know if you all have heard of Biafra. Biafra was an African civilization that is presently Nigeria. Is presently Nigeria. That civilization started. Our ancestors were producing should I say cars? Should I say cars or wheels that were being powered? It was powered up by palm oil. This palm oil that is coming from big bro. I'm sure you must know what I'm talking about. This palm oil, this red palm oil. They had cars, even though maybe the European can be boasting of wheels, that they had wheels, but our ancestors produced vehicles that were being powered up with palm oil. So we had great civilizations. There were so many great civilizations. We have the Mali Empire. One of the richest people that have ever lived on earth was Mansa Musa from Mali Empire. There were so many riches. There were so many. He even invented, even created something more like a university that is called the University of Timbuktu, which people were coming there to learn languages. The Greeks and the Romans were coming there. All this evidence they are there. So it was impossible for these things to be hidden from us. So that is why If our ancestors can accomplish great things like this, then why can't us as a people that we are their offspring, even though we might say it is because of what they did to us, they split us, they destroy our culture. Yeah, that's true. But right now is the time for us to come back and say we need to unite. Even when you study the scriptures, whenever Jerusalem was being destroyed, even if the Israelites scattered to other nations, when it is time, they don't just go there and just be there like that till there must be a time where they will say, okay, let us go back to our homeland and rebuild our kingdom, rebuild our temple. So that is what we need to do also. We need to rebuild the motherland. Because if the motherland is rebuilt, we are going to have self-respect. We are going to be feared all over the world, because we are going to be stronger than we are now. We are going to be stronger. They had to divide the motherland. They took you all that are in the diaspora away from the motherland. And when they took you all from the motherland, some people might be saying, why our brothers and sisters from the continent did not come to our rescue when we were being taken away. But the truth of the matter is, they didn't just take the diaspora out of Africa and then just allow Africa to regain itself. No, they had to destroy Africa. They had to set divisions among ourselves. There was a lot of atrocities and destruction that they did to ourselves that we were even unable. We here in the continent, our forefathers that were here in the continent, we are made of greatness, of course. We are made of greatness, and this is what so many of our people don't know. They still feel like, anything concerning Africa, and maybe we want to tell some of our brothers and sisters that, come to the motherland. The motherland has its own flaws, but we are the one to fix it. Yeah, we are the one to fix it. So it's been a whole lot. It's been a whole lot. So we must do this, no matter how small it might be, but we must do this. We must accomplish, even if our great leaders have stood up, they left. Some of them were assassinated, and we cannot just let what they started to die down. No, we must continue from where they stopped. And Pan-Africanism is the key. Unity, that's it. Unity is our only option. Unity. And Pan-Africanism, that is it. Because there are countries here in the motherland. You see small countries here in the motherland that has just a few amount of people, and they will still be going to stand maybe to the United Nations to collect loans. Meanwhile, there are just little countries with small populations. So this is what they have made us. They have turned us into. So we need to act fast. We need to act fast. Um, so I don't know if the African diaspora, because there was one time that I did live with one of our brother from Kenya, and